Sports Milan and Boxing News from the capital city here with Eddie Hearn. It just, all just had the news there that the main event now will be Brook versus Frampton-Quigg.
Yeah.
How hard was that fight to make and how quickly did it get made?
Pretty easy and very quickly. It was a fight that obviously when I signed Brook-Gavin a couple of months ago, I thought I will build this nicely. Welterweight, domestic world title fight, probably 9 months. And then, you know, he boxed the other week. He was due to fight Chris Van Heerden, and all of a sudden the IBF called up with a final eliminator against Tim Bradley. I was like, oh, it's a little bit early, and he obviously, as any fighter would, unbelievable opportunity for me. Spoke to Top Rank. They wanted to do the fight on June the 13th in New York. Spoke with Frankie, and he was like, okay. He said, is Brook fighting on May the 30th? I went, yeah. He went, well, why don't you just put me in with him? I sort of thought, he says, tougher fight as Bradley, and you know, who else are you going to get for him at this notice? And I sort of thought, yeah, you know, it's Sheffield against Birmingham. It's one of the most prestigious belts, prestigious divisions in world boxing, and it's 2 Brits challenging for that title. I don't remember the last time 2 Brits fought for the world welterweight title, and in fact before Froch against Groves, when was the last time 2 Brits fought for a world title?
We were just talking about that.
I don't know.
Yeah.
So great for the card, great for British boxing, you know, and I think, you know, even without Brook against Gavin, the card was outrageous anyway, and now we just got something, you know, a whole lot bigger.
It's you know, you've got a big stellar card on your hands when no one's really talking about John Ryder versus Nick
I
Blackwood,
know.
you know what I mean?
It's a shame in itself, you know. I mean, and that fight will be on at 6 o'clock, you know.
Yeah.
So I've got a little bit carried away with the card because, you know, after those 2 world title fights, Linares against Mitchell and Selby against Gradovic, they're 2 fights bringing those 2 champions over that I really had to dig deep for, and they were
financially,
yeah, probably more emotional investments rather than actually thinking about numbers, because I love Kevin Mitchell and I actually love Jorge Linares, one of my favourite fighters, and I just felt like Mitchell can do it, and I feel like Selby can do it but not in Russia. Do you know what I mean? So it was like, you know, we always talk about home advantage and a ring's a ring, but Russia's a little bit different to America, and you know, with those cards and obviously Joshua against Johnson and then Brook-Gavin, it just went into a huge night, and I can't remember a card of this magnitude, definitely not since I've been in boxing, so 5 years, and even before that, you know, I think you have to go back to the likes of seeing like the full Monty with Naz, and you know, but I think particularly those 2 world title fights where you got Brits challenging, they're total 50-50 fights, and it's a big night, because at the end of it, you know, you're definitely going to have a British welterweight champion, world champion, and you might have 2 British world champions at lightweight and featherweight as well, and I think if that's the case, British boxing will be on another level after the night.
Most definitely, and what a time for it. I've never known a May for boxing. It's just unbelievable in general, isn't it?
You know, obviously you've got Pacquiao, Mayweather, you've got our Birmingham show, you've got Burns, Figueroa, McDonnell against Kameda, you've got James DeGale challenging for the world title, probably Amir Khan as well, fighting. So boxing's buzzing at the moment, and like, you know, obviously you get people on Twitter who are very opinionated, but the fact is everyone's talking about it, and sometimes people are talking about the fights not getting made as well, which obviously I'd rather them talk about fights getting made, but they're still talking about it, you know. And obviously the stuff going on with Carl Frampton and Scott Quigg this week, it's been wonderful for both of their profiles, negative or positive, because everyone's been talking about Scott Quigg and everyone's been talking about Carl Frampton. Yeah. So, and it wasn't a publicity stunt, but I just felt I had to do something to get things moving, have a little bit of fun, and upset the apple cart and try and make this fight happen. So, and I think it's done that. It's got the reaction that I wanted it to have, and if they don't want it, they don't want it. But you know, Scott's come out of it looking very well in my opinion, and you know, onwards and upwards for his next fight, which will have more attention. Yeah. Because of the attention he's had over the last couple of weeks. Same with Brook-Gavin.
I mean, your business is your own, but do we know any more at this moment in time? Have Carl Frampton's team signed over promotion? No. I mean, they talked about obviously a co-promotion, and now they're saying 1.5 million is not enough because there's so much more in the fight. But I've offered them 60-40 to the winner on a co-promotion before, which has been turned down. So I don't know what else they want. You know, not standing there like Billy Big Balls, but we're the ones bringing the money to the fight for our broadcaster. They're not. If they want to come up with an offer, we'll come to Belfast and we'll fight on a different channel. Doesn't matter. They can't do it. So
there's going to come a time where they're going to have to accept. They're not going to like it, but it's just tough. You know, and you get situations like with Carl Frampton, I think it's more Barry McGuigan than Carl Frampton, like George Groves and like Amir Khan, where they've got this thing in their head where they don't want to play ball with me, because I'm not doing what Eddie says, I'm not doing what Sky Sports say. I'm not trying to be a dictator, I'm just trying to make you rich and make you a lot of money. So it's an ego thing, you know. It's like, no, we'll make our own decisions, we'll call the shots, but you can't call the shots. We've got an exclusive deal with Sky Sports, so we can the only ones that can bring box office to the table. So again, you know, it's frustrating, but I still think all these fights will happen in time, because you get to a stage where, like Pacquiao Mayweather, where they go, what else is there? You know, might as well do it, and that's what. You know, and I think Kell Brook against Frankie-Gavin is one of them where it's only because of Frankie's mentality that this fight ended up happening, because he said, no, I really want to fight for a world title.
Definitely.
If I don't take this opportunity now, I might never fight for a world title. You know what? I've always felt like I can beat Kell Brook. So,
I was just going to actually say to you there, I've interviewed Frankie-Gavin a few times, and I've seen him fight, and I agree with you. Boxing on another promoter show, another channel show, didn't look the happiest man in the world. Looked like he enjoyed what he was doing. And I'm interviewing him there, and he's got
I know, and
like a little kid.
Listen, even in the face-off, he weren't like, it weren't a fighter that was going to bottle it. It was, you know what, I fucking fancy this. And he ain't stupid. He knows how good Kell Brook is, but he says, listen, mate, I'm here to win. You know, and why not? Fuck it. And I'd rather give him the opportunity than Antonin Decarie or Diego Chavez, or Diego Chavez, for example. Some boxing nuts might go, whoa, that's a tough fight. The people in here can give a monkeys about Diego Chavez. Or at home, who's Diego Chavez? Oh, Frankie-Gavin. Oh, British Commonwealth champion from Birmingham. Oh, you know, it's just different mentality, you know. And I'd rather give one of my fighters a shot, a British fighter, than someone who's ranked lower down that people ain't heard of, or they're going to moan about anyway, because this is a quick turnaround fight. You know, we'll announce probably in the next week or so that the winner will fight Brandon Rios, hopefully. So that's a great fight for August, but they've got to fight each other here first.
Most definitely. Just finally, it's been as you say, a storm this week on social media with Frampton-Quigg and the Hearn, Brook, and God knows what else. Does some of the comments amaze you? I mean, I know casual boxing fans are casual boxing fans, and true people with knowledge of the sport maybe wouldn't say the same thing. But I know our timeline for once has just had some of the most ridiculous comments in history. You know, I don't quite know what to do with them.
Some people don't know how the business works. Some people get frustrated. Some people have got nothing better to do. I take it all with a pinch of salt. You know, I get stick, I get abuse, I get support, I get a bit of love.
Did you like the financial breakdown that one fella did?
Yeah, it was, I know. It was like, he went to me, the gate gets 3 million. I was like, mate, if you could get a gate at 3 million, can you let me know, please? And I said, do you know that ticket sales got VAT on them? I said, an agent's commission. And he said, yeah, but average ticket price is £150. I was like, if I made a manifest with an average ticket price of 150 grand, no one would ever talk to me. £150 for average price. No one would ever talk to me. That means like the average price is like 1,500 quid for an inner ringside, and the low price is like 60 quid just for a tier seat. So I know what I'm doing, but I know it's frustrating sometimes for people. It's frustrating for me because sometimes I read people's responses and think, mate, are you mad? What planet? And I have to reply. I'm sitting there and people are going, why are you replying to these people? Because it's frustrating. Yeah. So, but without social media and without the interest, the sport isn't as big as it is. So when we end up making those fights, the fights will be so much bigger. Like the Frampton fight, Quigg fight, just got 10 or 15% bigger this week. Same with Amir Khan, you know. So I think really it's all good. All the talk is good, you know. And people say to me, oh, that was a bit classless, putting a check on TV. Mate, that's what, I'm a promoter. Do you know what I mean? I'm not saying I'm non-stop classy. Sometimes I do things to cause reaction, for hype, and to grow fights, and to build profiles. Sometimes you like it, sometimes you won't, but I've got to do my job, you know. So there you go.
Eddie, thank you for your time. Much appreciated. Cheers, Ed. Thanks for your